Hey y'all, are we live? How are you? I'm here getting ready to jump on one-on-one calls with my mastermind group. I've got a full day, got my coffee ready. I've just got a few minutes and I thought I would jump on and see if you had any questions for me. We get a lot of people asking questions on our website, and I thought this would be a good opportunity just to come on here and give some answers. So I'm just going to send a quick texting out to my community so that people know that I'm live. And while we're doing that, make sure you comment and tell me, where are you from? Do you sell your handmade items? If so, where do you sell them? And let me know if you have any questions that I can help you. I have been doing this for over 10 years, growing my handmade business online. And I think this is just a good way for me to help anybody and give back. Let's see, answering your handmade business questions live. Okay. Good morning, Nicole and Kimberly. Marianne's from Tampa. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Pam's from Pennsylvania, just started selling, mostly local, but binge watching all of your videos. I love that, Pam. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's important to know that, it's so fun when we start selling our handmade items, but it's also a little scary too, isn't it? When I first started, I couldn't believe that somebody would actually want to buy my items. It was like, oh my gosh, I was just doing it for myself, and somebody actually wants to buy something. Let's see. Sorry, it came out totally wrong. I would like to start selling my Wreath handmade floral arrangements and don't know how to start. So, Kimberly, that's a great question. The way that I got started, there are many ways to do this. And as you talk to different people who got started in the handmade selling business, they all have their own different stories. Okay. And you just need to, go with your gut and do something that feels very good for you at first, very comfortable with you at first. That would be like reaching out to your family and friends. I would tell my church friends, all my neighbors. I would tell all my neighbors that you're getting what you're doing. Put it out there on your Facebook page, not page, but your Facebook profile that you're getting ready to start selling, and put pictures of what you can do out there. And you'll be surprised at how word of mouth will start. The other way that I did it, because I'm an introvert, I don't like talking to people face to face. Not that I hate it, I just am not good at it, and I don't like the sales pushy type of mentality. And I never liked looking at my friends as a way to make money, if that makes sense. So what I did, I immediately went into Etsy, started selling on Etsy. And for me, that is how I started my business, one Etsy listing at a time. Let's see if there are any other questions. From Fancy, do you think going live on Facebook actually improves sales? I don't know. I think it depends on who you are. You have to remember that I started my business before Pinterest was around, before Facebook Live was around, before Instagram was around, and I was making a lot of money then. I mean, with my handmade business. So I don't think that it's a necessary thing that you need. For me to improve sales, you just need to be very diligent about selling online. This pandemic was a perfect example of brick and mortars who had been bucking getting online and not trying to figure out the whole online universe, if you will. And now they had their businesses shut down because of COVID, and they were kicking themselves, wishing they had figured out online years ago. Those who are online right now are the ones who are still in business, doing good things with their handmade business. But I don't think that going live on Facebook is the answer for everything. I do feel like it helps, though, to build a community around your brand, if that makes sense. So if you're on Facebook, for me, Facebook is just a great way to build a community around your brand. If you have your Facebook page and you're just constantly bombarding it with come buy from me, people don't attract to that, but they do attract to you as an individual, and you can make yourself known better on a Facebook Live or even a video. So it doesn't have to be a live. It could just be, a video. Hopefully that helps, but I don't want anyone to feel like they have to do live in order, to be successful. Jenny from Texas, selling her handmade wreaths online. Love it, love it, love it. Just getting started and it's slow. Selling wreaths online. Set up my Wix site and posting on social media. Any advice from Ontario, Canada? Well, welcome. Y'all, I forgot to even say who I was. I am Julie Samaka with Southern Charm Wreaths, where we make beautiful wreaths, but we also teach you how to sell them. So that's what this video is about, just giving you some tips of the trade that have worked for me. Now, listen, you got to do your own test and measuring. I tell my people in my Success Circle group, I'm going to tell you what's working for me, but you need to go and test it for yourself to see if it's working for you. So selling online, no matter if you're selling on Etsy, which I highly recommend, it is it's a great platform of people who are already coming to buy handmade. So all you're doing is taking advantage of all of the shoppers already attracted to Etsy, logging in on a daily basis to search for something to buy. When you create your own website, such as Wix, you're solely responsible for driving your traffic to the website, okay? So you have to be the one that says, okay, where can I get people to come and find me? I need to be on Pinterest. I need to make sure that I'm gathering customers' emails so that when we list new items, we can make sure that we're, putting it out on our email list, we're putting it out on Pinterest and things like that. But you have to use keywords. So one of you guys know me, if you've been watching me for a skinny minute, that I'm a huge fan of Etsy, and I teach keywords, how important keywords are for getting found in search results. You have to apply those that same system of keywords for your Wix site, for your Pinterest account, for your Facebook page, for your Instagram account. No matter what you're doing online, it's all about making sure that you're using the right keywords. So put yourself in your buyer's shoes, and what would they do? What would they do for trying to find you online? What would they put into the search results? And that's what you need to make sure that you have as well. Julie, I tend to sell my wreaths on the cheaper end because I always ask myself, what would I pay for it? That's the wrong attitude, Julie. How do you reach people that would pay higher prices? So, Julie, you just price your wreaths. You just price them what you want to make for them. You can't price based off of what is in your wallet. Okay, you can't price for that. You have to determine that. So for example, me, I wouldn't buy my wreaths. I can't afford them, maybe one day down the road, but there are so many other people who can afford them, and you have to price according to your ideal customer. So if you want to attract people who would pay those higher prices, then number one, you have to produce a quality product. And number two, you have to make sure that you get seen in front of those people who have disposable income, and then ask for it. You just price them what you want to get out of it. That's a great question, but you can't price based off of what you can afford, because if you think about it, you can make it, right? So you're not going to be able to see the potential because you're like, well, I can make this. Why would somebody buy it that way? You can't think like that. You have to think of it as a business. You are not selling your items to get through necessarily to the next season, okay? You have to price your items to grow for the next year and the year after. So always think about the long term. If you're pricing just to get through the season, then you're not going to have enough profit at the end of the season in order to implement something in your business. Okay, so let's say, for example, you're selling on Etsy and you want to add a website. But if you're not pricing your items correctly, you're not building up working capital in order to, purchase a computer, purchase someone to design a website for you. You might not be pricing enough in order to even run Facebook ads. Or what's the next thing that you might want to incorporate some new equipment in your workshop, or maybe even eventually rent a storage building or some type of warehouse for you to, have your off-season items, stored. You've got to think big and not just to get through the next season. I felt like that yesterday. Really love it. Awesome, Tanya. Good morning from Texas, trying to get an Etsy shop up and running, just getting started. Well, Elizabeth, let us know. All it takes is one item to get started. Sell my handmade items. I have a Facebook page for that. However, nothing has sold yet for my page, so I set up at flea markets and farmers markets. So, Marty, you have to. So, one of the things about selling on social media is that you're at the, you're kind of at their. You have to do what they say, right? So. There's ways that there's a thing called an algorithm for the social medias like Facebooks of the world, okay? And the algorithm basically gets to know the user as a person. So for me, when I log into Facebook, it knows what to show me because of things I've looked at in the past, who my friends are, what my friends have liked and shared. That's sort of what Facebook puts into my news feed. So it's a little harder to make a sale just using the Facebook page because, in my opinion, you're fighting the algorithm of what Facebook is determining people might want to see. Not to say that it can't be done, but you've just got to make sure that when you post on your Facebook page, you're using really good keywords. Remember to always put yourself in the buyer's shoes. What will the buyer say in a search box in order for your items to be displayed? And then how can you narrow it down so that you're not in so much of the competition, okay? So a lot of times people will think, well, it's a Christmas wreath. I'm just going to use Christmas wreath. Well, so is everybody else who's making a Christmas wreath. And so the competition is a lot larger. But if you narrow it down to something like buffalo plaid gnome Christmas wreath, now you're hitting on keywords like buffalo plaid and gnome, which are going to have a little bit less of a competition than, say, just a Christmas wreath. Does that make sense? You've got to really start to narrow it down. Don't forget to use your keywords even on your Facebook page. Welcome, Milwaukee. Mississippi's in the house representing. Good morning. I'm from PA. I don't sell online, but I did put my wreaths and centerpieces in a beautiful Christmas barn on consignment to sell. I've never done anything like this before. My question is, do I raise the price to compensate for the consignment cost? Yes. Typically they take, I don't know, like 15-20% of what the price is of your item. You have to factor that in because that's an expense. So whenever you're pricing your items, you need to make sure that you include all of your cost and your expenses in order to price for profit and scale of your business. So doing something like that, you definitely want to include that in for sure. Let's see, personal Facebook page and tag friends, you'll be amazed. So that's great. You could do that. You're technically not allowed to sell on your Facebook profile, okay? And you're not allowed to tag your friends on your page. So just make sure that you follow the directions, okay? So make sure you're following the terms and services of Facebook. You don't want to get shut down for anything, doing something wrong. Good morning from North Carolina. I sell on Etsy, but it has been crickets for me compared to last year. All right, so one thing, friends, you have to understand is we just came through an election. We're not really even through it all the way, are we? But elections years are always slow. And the reason being is people are very distracted and they're a little bit like wondering, what's going to happen. And believe me, it's going to pass. It's going to fade. I've been doing this for many years. Take it from me, election years, things do slow down a little bit. Unfortunately, it happens in fourth quarter when we expect sales to be amazing. But take it from me, it's just going to take a little bit of time to get through the muck of it, if you will. So posting on social media daily is not necessarily going to produce the sales, okay? You want to post not necessarily on a calendar or a rule of I've got to post so many times a day, but instead really get into the mind and the emotions of your buyers. What are your buyers interested in right now? Okay, so for me, I'm a wreath maker. What would my buyers be interested in right now? Well, they're probably thinking about decorating for Christmas. Like, when am I going to put up the Christmas tree? What am I going to put on the Christmas tree? What am I going to put on the front door? So get into the mind of your buyers and ask them, or even ask your friends and family, what are you thinking about right now for Christmas decorating, for Christmas decor, and see what they tell you. They really want a home that is festive. They want a home that's warm and inviting, a home that's cozy. They want to look good on the on the block, so they want to have pride in their home. So if you start using words like that in your posting on your Facebook page, you're going to have a little bit better results than, here's a wreath for sale, come buy it in my Etsy shop. Instead say something. Put a picture of your wreath. I'm not saying don't put a picture of your wreath, but then ask them a question. Hey guys, what's your biggest challenge for putting up your Christmas tree? And then you could put in the comments of your post how to buy that wreath from you. Okay, so you don't make it so salesy and feeling like you've got to post on social media every day. You just want to make sure that you're trying to build up a conversation with your followers. I've been making wreaths since last January. I have been selling some, but it has been a hobby for me until lately. Awesome, Lynette. How long did it take for your handmade business to take off or gain momentum? It took me about 3 months before I started thinking that, hey, I might have something here. It would be, I would sell some right out of the gate, and then it would trickle a little, it would slow down, and then I'd sell one, then it would slow down, and then I'd sell a couple more, and then it would slow down. And so I think about 3 months is when I said, wait a minute, I'm getting the groove. I think I'm figuring this stuff out. I think I can do this. And so for me, it was 3 months. That's a great question. I do have a question. How tight do you put your ribbon tails in your wreaths? How tight? How tight do you put your ribbon tails in your wreaths? Okay, so it really depends on the type of wreath you're referring to. So for deco mesh, I put them in very tight with the needle ties. If I'm doing a grapevine wreath, I put them very tight on a steel pick or a wooden floral pick. And if I am doing an evergreen wreath or a PVC wreath, I just use the needle ties on the wreath to wire them in. So does that help? I hope it does. Good morning from Charlotte. Hey, Janice, you know what? I grew up in Charlotte. I actually went to Myers Park High School in Charlotte. I have made my own wreaths for some time. I have learned so much from watching your videos, but about the mechanics and designs to improve my wreaths. Thank you. Keep posting. Love it. Thank you. Miss Bonnie. Hey, girl. Can you tell me how to cancel a sell on my Etsy shop? I issued a refund immediately, but it's still showing up. Let me just hop on over to my Etsy shop and see if I can show you quickly. Okay, so if I go, let me share, I've got to share my screen first. If you click over to your Etsy shop and you click on your orders, find the order here, click the order number, and then click more actions, and then click cancel. So it looks to me like they've got something new, cancel an order and issue a refund. to your buyer in one seamless step. They're moving the transaction into your completed tab, making your workflow easier. So it looks like they're making changes right now, but for me, this is how I would do it. I used to go in and refund, and then once I refund, then I'd have to come back in here and cancel it. Hope you're doing well, Miss Bonnie. Debbie says, when you started in Etsy, did you have all the lighting enhancements for photos you have currently? I doubt I'll be able to have that on the outset. No, nobody. Okay, so when you're getting started, don't feel like you have to have all of the bells and whistles. All I needed was my phone camera. I didn't even have that back then. I had a regular camera. It was so much harder back then when without my iPhone. But all you need is your phone for photos and a front door. That's all you need. So when you take pictures on your front door, you're going to want to make sure that you're using diffused lighting. So what that means is don't wait until the sun is directly facing your front door. You're going to wait until the sun is barely beginning to show on the front door, or it's already passed over the front door and it's behind. So for me, in my old house, our door faced the setting sun. So I always had to get out and take pictures about 10 a.m. in the morning. And then by the time it got, setting over that way, it was too late. I had to wait. Now in our new house, our door faces the rising sun. So I can't take it in the morning. I have to wait until about 5 o'clock at night. And then, well, now it's probably more like 4 because of the time change. And then I go out and take photos of my door, my wreath on my door. But I don't really use any photo editing or anything like that. I just use my phone. I set it to the square image, and then that's exactly what I upload to Etsy directly from my phone. So I don't have to do any of that. I don't feel like you really need all of the bells and whistles. Now, later on, to streamline the process for you and to be more efficient, you might not want to wait on the sun, or say it's cloudy on a day you expected to take photos for 4 of your items. Then you might want to eventually get some lighting equipment and find a place in your home that's good. So that might help you later on down the road, but I don't feel like anybody needs anything fancy in order to get started. And to remember, you guys, to batch process in order to streamline the process for you. Instead of taking a wreath and going out immediately and taking a picture, because if you have to wait, like I do for the setting and rising sun, perfect opportunity. Instead, create, 5 items, and then all of a sudden you're taking pictures one at a time, over and over and over again. So you're not going out every day. You might just be going out once or twice a week, and you're batch processing. So making like five or 6 wreaths at a time. Then the next day you go out and you take 5 or 6 of the pictures, right? So you're just doing a batch process instead of one wreath from start to finish. Takes a lot longer to do. Good morning, Cindy. I'm going to start selling creations online at the beginning of the year. Do I just set up a separate checking account in my name? That's a great point, Cindy. Yes, you're going to want to set up a separate checking account. It can be in your name. You could also set up a checking account and under doing business as. So it could be in your name, but under it, it's going to be doing business as in your business name. So that's a great point. I don't think you necessarily need a business checking account. Sometimes banks charge a little bit more for business checking accounts, unless you keep, hundreds or thousands of dollars in it at all times. They're going to charge you with that fee, but they won't necessarily charge you for another checking account. So try that, just a regular personal checking account, but then on the account, you're going to put doing business as in your business name. Keeping everything separate is a huge help, especially as we're nearing the end of the year. You want to be able to look at your account and go, how much did I make? How much did I spend? What's my profit? What's my loss? Also, you're going to love it come tax time. All right, Kim, enjoy your work day, girl. Enjoy your work day. Fancy, what's your thoughts on monthly subscriptions and this even worth to start as a business model? Yes, it is. So let me tell you the subscriptions that we have joined in the past couple of months. I joined a wine of the month subscription. I've also joined a flower of the month type of subscription. So in other words, they send me flowers every month, once a month. I get, 4 bottles of wine every month, which is perfect. Now, if I'm going to keep doing that, I don't know. That's a lot of wine for me to drink, but we're coming into the holidays and we're going to be entertaining. So I wanted to make sure that we had wine and I didn't have to go out and buy it. But I started looking at some commercials or not commercials, but I follow some YouTubers and I was watching on YouTube, and they even have diapers that come to you as a subscription. And I thought, oh my gosh, I would have loved to have that when I was, beginning as a parent. So yes, I think that subscriptions are great. I think that people would buy a subscription for wreath making, or a subscription for pre-made wreaths. Can you imagine if you locked into a customer who wanted a wreath every quarter? So yeah, I think subscriptions are here for a while, and it depends on your audience, right? And your customer, right? So there's that. Hey, Jess, I wanted to ask you if it would be okay to sign up for your Wreath of the Month Club, even though I have absolutely no experience making wreaths. You're amazing. Yes, you can. Go to learntowreath.com. So learntowreath.com. And get on our mailing list for sure. Great. Thank you, though, for that. Kim, how important is it to have a business plan, and at what point do I need to set the plan into motion? So, Kim, I really didn't have a business plan. Okay, this was my business plan when I first started. How many wreaths do I want to sell this quarter? Okay, if I want to sell that many, well, then how many wreaths do I need to sell this month, each month? Okay, so now that I got that number, well, how many wreaths do I need to make how many wreaths do I need to make in order to sell that, so many that week? That was the basis of my plan in the beginning. I didn't start implementing a business plan until last year, honestly. So I don't want anyone to feel like that they have to be, have it all worked out to get started. You don't have to. I feel like that's, just get started, see if you like it, how is it going for you, and then you figure out how to scale it from there, okay? If you're just starting, the cost of the shipping right now is crazy. How do we get through that when you're just starting? So if you're just starting, you're going to want to set up a business account with the carrier, okay? You're going to want to set up a business account with the carrier. For me, I use FedEx. Majority of the people that I know also use FedEx. Go to FedEx, set up a business account. Then I also would recommend ShipStation. I've been using ShipStation for a year now, and I love it. It integrates with Etsy, and it also integrates with my FedEx business account. I don't think you might not need a FedEx business account to start on ShipStation. You could research that yourself, but it integrates immediately with Etsy. Now, if you're not on Etsy, then you might want to just go to FedEx, create a business account, call and get a rep on the phone, talk to somebody, tell them what you are planning on doing, how much you plan on shipping, how can they give you a discount. Just picking up the phone and calling, I was able to get 30% discount on ground shipping. So then you're going to want to make sure that you're pricing your wreath for profit. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that the customer pays for that shipping. So you could put it either the shipping price into the wreath, or I like to just divide it in two and say, okay, the shipping is half of this, but the other half is the price of the wreath, so that the buyer doesn't get that sticker shock on the shipping. But because this is why they're used to Amazon, they're used to going to Amazon, paying nothing, and then getting it within 2 days. That's not how a handmade business works. A handmade business is a little bit more detailed than that. It's a little more time and effort. It's not mass produced in China. You don't have thousands sitting around waiting just to be shipped out. You hand make it. It's a custom item. You put it in a box. You wrap it nicely with tissue paper. You put in your love card that how to maintain it, thanking them for their order, and then you could ship it. But I personally don't recommend the post office at this time. It's just been a little hot mess for everybody. I like to use FedEx. Do you need a business license and a business bank account before you set up an Etsy store? No, you don't need any of that to set up an Etsy store. I'm an introvert also. Yes, introverts rejoice. What lighting do you recommend for inside pictures since your weather isn't always for the outdoor pictures? This is what I go, let's see. I just did this yesterday. Let me find it. I'm just going to go to Amazon. Now, who else gets completely distracted when you go to Amazon? Like I go to Amazon, I'm like, all the things to buy. I'm like, stop looking, just search. You're going to look up photography lighting kit. I look for things that have the 3. This is what I like to use. They have these, they're newer. They have these barn doors on them. Let me click on it and so you can see a little bit larger. So you can direct the lighting where you want. I've got several of these kits that I use for videos, but also I've got 3 in front of the wreath. But then I also have boom lights. Let's see if I can show you. Let's see how these angle downward? That's what you're looking for, something that you can angle down. See how it's got this stand and it's got a little weight and it angles. So this is what I like to put on top of my wreath. I've got 2 of those on top of my wreath, and then I'll have 2 of these on either side of my wreath. And that helps to get rid of all of the shadows. When you put your wreath on your wall or a door inside your home and you put lights on one side, then there's shadows on the other side. So then I have to put lights over there in order to bounce the light around so there's no shadows. Do you ever make the same exact wreath again and again? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Do you say this item will deliver from actual product? In another video, you mentioned Etsy likes when the seller renews an item. Yes. So if you find that one of your items sold really fast and then it's getting a lot of interest or traction, say from Pinterest, then that is something that another buyer will want to buy as well. So that's a cue for me to make more of that style, and you would just duplicate the same listing. So you create the listing and you say either it's 1 quantity or 3 quantity or 5 quantity, how many ever you can make. Etsy loves it when you sell an item and then you renew that same item to sell again. So what happens with the way Etsy algorithm works, it's going, hey, they're going to put all of their items in front of buyers to ensure there is a sale. That's their goal. That's their goal. Etsy's goal is to make money, honestly. So if they can make money selling, why wouldn't they put more of what sells in front of people in the searches? So if you have an item that sells on Etsy, it makes sense to have more of that same item in order to sell the same item to other people. I just have time for a few more questions and then I got to run. I've got a call. Yes, it's on. It definitely will be on YouTube. You guys, if you're on YouTube, make sure to give me a follow over there too, okay? A subscribe and follow over there. Should you set up a FedEx or a UPS business account before opening your Etsy shop? Yeah, I would. You don't have to. You could just start your Etsy shop, but then when the sale happens, you're going to have to figure out, okay, how am I going to ship it now? So for me, if you're one of those people who like to be like organized and planned and have a plan of action and be proactive, right? Instead of reactive, then I would go and create a FedEx account for sure. But, you know, it's completely up to you. What's the best seller of homemade items? I'm currently making wreaths, but I would like to do something different. Bows. Bows are really selling. Make sure that when you're selling items for your brand, that they're on brand. So it doesn't make sense for me to go make an Afghan because I'm all about flowers and ribbon and glitter and flowers and greenery and flowers. You see what I'm saying? So it makes sense for when I add other products into my product line that it meshes with it. And so for me to make Afghans or decals for my, you know, Yeti mug, it just doesn't fit within my brand. So whenever you're setting up a brand on Etsy, you want to make sure that everything you're offering is within brand so that you're always attracting the right buyer. It's harder to attract the right buyer when all of your shop is kind of a hodgepodge of things. For me, it feels a little harder to get a community around your brand when it's, you know, a bunch of stuff, unless you're local. I think if you have a local shop or boutique, but then you're only, you know, only attracting the locals. So I think that it does better when you have everything meshed together. So what's working now for wreath sellers is making bows. Okay, so there are a lot of people who don't know how to tie a bow. They want bows on their Christmas trees, and they don't want one on the top, which is a great seller. They want multiple. They want 12. Like 12 bows throughout the wreath. So you can sell bow sets, you can sell tree topper bows, you can sell bows for lanterns, bows for mailboxes, bows for wreath. Okay, so there's bows are very, very popular right now. Let's see. Julie says, great advice. It just clicked with me. Yay! Awesome. Okay, so right there, that to me says what I'm doing right now in this video work. If I can resonate with one person and clear up anything for one person, that is amazing. Can I do this on a part-time basis? Yes, there is a lot of people who do this on a part-time basis. They run an Etsy shop part-time, and then they work a 9 to 5. So you absolutely can. All right, let me look, y'all. I'm going to have to wrap this up because I have a call in 15 minutes. This is, well, here's one last question. So Elizabeth says, my support group keeps telling me I'm charging too much. I agree for selling in my local area, but I want to sell in Etsy. If you were just starting on Etsy, how would you go about it? Do you just go to Etsy and click, you know, start selling and create your Etsy shop and then list your first item? It really is easy to walk through. I also have an Etsy e-guide, like a quick start guide on my, so if you go to southerncharmwreaths.com, click shop, there is an Etsy ebook that you can download, and it's just a really quick get starting guide. I think it's less than $10, but it basically walks you through getting started on Etsy, things to think about when you're listing. I even give you a checklist of how to come up with the right keywords for your items. So head over there to either my Etsy shop at Southern Charm Wreaths or southerncharmwreaths.com, click shop ebooks, and then Etsy quick start guide. All right, you guys, I hope this was beneficial for y'all. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to try to do more of it. Thanks for being patient with me. I had to get situated in my home. Yeah, we just moved, and it was a lot more than I anticipated. But I've been active doing this in my Success Circle group once a week. Every Monday, I do this exact same thing. If you're interested in joining us, go to howtosellhandmade.com, howtosellhandmade.com for more training. I give you detailed tutorials on how to set up an Etsy shop, how to ship a wreath, how to search for keywords, things like that. So if you would, need more training, detailed training, like looking over my screen and let me show you how to do it on a screen. It's howtosellhandmade.com. All right, you guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.